Next year, Magic the Gathering will at last be returning to the plane of Lorwyn, and many Magic the Gathering players are holding their breath, hoping this long-awaited revisit will be as epic and satisfying as, well, we all anticipate. A few years ago, we revisited Kamigawa, and I'm sorry, does that say years ago? Years since Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. Years. Okay, great. A few years ago, God, I'm so old, we revisited Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, and overwhelmingly, people seemed to view it as a raging success. And yet, just this year, we returned to Ravnica with Murders at Karlov Manor, Ravnica Clue, and Ravnica Remastered, and, well, this was viewed as less successful, to say the least. But why? When we returned to Ravnica previously, it was considered a success, even though we had also returned to Ravnica a time before that, and that was seen as a success. So what went wrong this time? What is needed to make returning to Lorwyn everything that the player base wants it to be? Do you want to return to Kaladesh, Alara, Kaldheim, Amonkhet, or maybe just Ravnica one more time to make sure we get it right? In this video, I will be opening 2 booster boxes from our first Return to Innistrad, Shadows over Innistrad and Eldritch Moon. I'll be keeping a running tally of card values to see if these booster boxes are worth their current going rate, but also I'll be freely and without a script talking about returning to Plains. What makes a return successful? What makes it a failure? And when should we even go back, or should we just stay away? Yep, it's another unscripted box opening prof video. Woohoo! Buckle up, 'cause here we go. But first who's that on the phone? Hello? Oh my God, it's Lightning Helix. It's Lightning Helix Sleep. That is, sponsor of this video, Helix Sleep. Say hello to a good night's sleep that feels as good as top-decking a lethal burn spell in the semifinals of a Pro Tour. Well, you don't have to imagine for long, thanks to Helix Sleep. Hello, good night's sleep. It's just a Helix Sleep away. Helix Sleep offers a lineup of 20 unique premium mattresses customized to fit your needs and conveniently shipped to your door. That includes their award-winning Luxe and Ultra Premium Elite collections, the Helix Plus, a mattress designed for big and tall sleepers, and even the Helix Kids mattresses, designed for growing bodies and endorsed by child sleep and medical experts. Everyone is different, and Helix knows that. That's why Helix Sleep Quiz will match you to the perfect mattress based on your body type and sleep preferences. For example, I'm a back sleeper who prefers a firmer mattress, so the Helix Dusk Luxe mattress that I was matched with is absolutely perfect for my needs. I've had my Helix mattress for over 2 years now, and I absolutely love it. That's real, by the way. That isn't just like part of the, I have literally been sleeping on a Helix mattress for over 2 years, and oh my gosh, I still love it to this day, especially compared to that monstrosity I was sleeping on before Helix. Yeah, nothing but a nightmare. But now I have nothing but good dreams, and occasionally nightmares, because it's not really relevant to your mattress, but it's a comfy mattress. Best of all, Helix delivers your mattress right to your door with free shipping within the United States. The mattress comes rolled up in a box and is super easy to set up. What's more, Helix Sleep offers a 100-night sleep trial to test the mattress out and ensure you love it. Plus, Helix mattresses include a 10-year warranty, and they even offer financing options and flexible payment plans. So remember, a great night's sleep is never far away with Helix. If you're looking to upgrade your mattress, now is a fantastic time to check out Helix Sleep. Their Memorial Day sale is running now through May 30th. You can get 30% off of an Elite or Luxe mattress plus 2 free pillows. Or you can just take advantage of 25% off site-wide. Check out the Helix site for more details. Thank you, Helix, for sponsoring this video. So here we are, Return to Innistrad with Shadows over Innistrad and Eldritch Moon. And I want to say really clearly and really honesty, these are boxes I bought when the sets came out for my personal collection. I am going to be doing a draft with these and placing the cards off camera in such a way as to keep as booster packs for a draft, so they're getting used, they're getting played. What I will not be doing in this video is talking about my feelings on 1 versus 2 versus 3 set blocks. That is a whole other discussion. I think you know how I feel though. But the question is how do I feel about 2 set blocks? Obviously, I like 3 set blocks. That's another video. What I will tell you is that this is one of the first playmats I ever bought, and it's still in amazing shape. It's one of my favorite artworks because it was the artwork on the booster box for original Innistrad. Look at this. What is this, like 12 years old now? It's still in pretty good shape. The back is not so great, where there's some fading of the neoprene, but all in all, considering I used this as my personal playmat at GP's Friday Night Magic for the longest time and still in videos, really good stuff. Ultra Pro playmats, B/B+. I want to start the highest grade of Tolarian Community College, a B+ now. They're really good quality. I do like playmats like Inked, Gamegenic a little bit more. That also is another video. Here, I want to begin by asking the question, was it a mistake to destroy Innistrad with the Eldrazi? This harkens back to planes like Amonkhet and of course Zendikar, where we have a plane that people love, they adore the flavor of, and by the end of the block, the plane is devastated, destroyed, run over by Eldrazi in the case of Zendikar, and though the heroes are triumphant on Innistrad, the fate of the plane and its inhabitants was left a little ambiguous at the end. Ironically, when we returned to the plane, people felt that there wasn't much in the way of an explanation of where was the damage and the devastation. But nonetheless, I think that my main question is should a plane be more or less static over the course of a story where it's characters that serve the narrative, but the plane itself remains, relatively Innistrad stays Innistrad? And does having Eldritch Horror warp and convert our beloved vampires, zombies, and werewolves into whatever the hell this is, does that ruin kind of the feel of the plane? And my thoughts on this actually are that what we should have done was go to another continent where Eldritch Horror was maybe already the theme. What do I mean by this? I feel that a lot of Magic the Gathering planes suffer from what I call the Star Trek planet syndrome. Plane is not unlike a planet, right? But work with me here if you've seen a lot of Star Trek like I have. We go to a planet, but that planet actually just kind of has a town. They walk up, the leader of the planet happens to be there, that sort of thing. And you don't get the feeling that this is a world with 8 billion inhabitants so much as there's a city if you're lucky, on that planet that the Enterprise crew interacts with. And I think that planes oftentimes have this problem where it feels like this isn't a giant world. Some of them do. Ravnica does, because that's by design, brain in a jar. But rather that there's just a village or a small little location of people. This was my problem with Amonkhet, whereas Amonkhet was a plane that literally was defined by just being a village, and then that village or town, a city, that's then destroyed at the end. And I like the more global approach. And I think, with that in mind, it would have been really clever to say, what's across the sea in Innistrad? What happens when we leave these villages that are the traditional horror tropes of classic, shall we say, European-based monsters, werewolves, zombies, vampires, and we go across the sea? And maybe across the sea we find a different type of horror plagues Innistrad. Innistrad is the horror plane, but horror can take many forms. And so we go across the sea and we find that it's actually not vampires, werewolves, and zombies across the sea on Innistrad, but there are new towns and cities and beings, and they are plagued by Eldritch Horror. I don't know. That's kind of my thought about it. And that maybe interferes with the idea that it's Emrakul who is causing the shift. And maybe that doesn't apply to this idea of Emrakul has come to Innistrad and has begun shaping, changing the world and warping it in her distorted image. But it is the thought that I always had, is I'd love to see more of a fleshed out world. And I actually really did like the Emrakul storyline of Emrakul has come to Innistrad. The problem is there was no mystery to it because we did Zendikar first. And I think most people have talked about this and agree with me that we should have gone to Innistrad first after not seeing Zendikar, not seeing the Eldrazi for a long time, and had a longer mystery in Eldritch Moon of what is causing this, and perhaps not specifically identified Eldrazi in the set at all, and just had this mystery of something is warping and changing things, hints at Eldrazi, and then it turns out when we get to Eldritch Moon that actually it is Emrakul. So, like having a surprise that it's Emrakul, whereas everyone knew it was Emrakul that's coming in, and it really ruined the mystery. They did out of order. I'm pretty sure that Rosewater even said that, they should have done it in a reverse order so that people were actually surprised and excited that Emrakul was there, and then it leaves open the mystery of what about the other two Eldrazi? It could have changed things where it's, again, then if they take down Emrakul, I don't know. The plot with them taking down the other Eldrazi with Channel Fireball is a little odd to begin with. But even so, even if Eldritch Moon and Shadows over Innistrad needed to be in our known Innistrad, I love that idea that there's more to a world than its initial thing, that we can go further. What if Duskmourn, which is coming up, which is another horror trope. What if Duskmourn was another part of Innistrad? I mean, are we really just going to say this entire plane is a haunted mansion? I don't know the details of Duskmourn, but I'm starting to get, again, that Star Trek problem where we're going to have a very small world, where it's a lot more like a TV show, House on Haunted Hill sort of thing. And I just really worry. About that for planes and think, we should maybe expand planes when we return to them. And so if we're talking today about the success of returning to planes, I think adding a little bit more to a plane in terms of its development is a good way to go, as well as revisiting favorites. And then if we're going to talk about revisiting favorites, a really good question is should we work a little bit harder to distinguish what makes a plane a plane? What do I mean by that? Well, I'll tell you something that really disappointed me. It was when we started seeing gods outside of Theros. Saw them in Amonkhet, now we've seen them elsewhere. And I was like, what a bummer, because the gods were something that was so unique to Theros. And now it's just something that exists kind of everywhere. We've even had lore to indicate planes where we don't see, there's our mythic, where we don't see gods in the cards, still may have had gods in the lore, things like that. And it's just like, okay, so then what makes Theros unique? It's, I guess, the Greek myth, things like that. But I really wish that there were mechanical aspects that were unique or semi-unique to planes. Maybe there's one other plane that has gods, Kaldheim, for example. But does it really need to be all of these other planes also have gods? What about things like, I'll be honest with you, seeing Shocklands in things like Zendikar and stuff via the expeditions, while really beautiful art and very cool, well, isn't that what makes Ravnica unique? And I know I'm arguing for walls and restrictions, but I've always been a fan of walls and restrictions breeding great settings, breeding great storytelling, and breeding a real distinct flavor. What was awesome about old Magic Planes, and by old Magic Planes, I mean essentially pre-Battle for Zendikar. This is right after Battle for Zendikar. But what I mean about old Magic Planes, there she is! Everyone's favorite middle-aged werewolf. I love it. Arlencourt is, honest to God, one of my favorite planeswalkers, very underrated, and I like that she's not 20. I make that joke, middle-aged werewolf, but I like seeing characters in Magic that aren't either 20 or that appear physically to be 20. Before you go, Liliana, she's actually incredibly old. Yeah, but, she's drawn as 20. I like seeing older characters, especially as planeswalkers, although we've shifted away from it. Anyway, Arlingcord, really awesome. Probably not worth much. I'm not doing the money guessing on this, but $5? Are we down to $5 really? The fact that there's like Planeswalkers, I could do a signed Planeswalker for Patreon, probably for like, because there are 50-cent ones, so I could pick them up to sign. That's another video too. So I do think restrictions breed these really distinct things about planes, and I know that then it sucks where it's like, well, if shocklands become really expensive, then how do we ever get them if they're not, if we're not returning often to Ravnica? Which then brings up the question of how often do we return to Ravnica? Should fetch lands only be on Zendikar? And I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like a part of me says yes, but I also am someone who has always had this belief, and now this is such a antiquated belief the way Magic has changed, but I always wanted to see strategic reprints in things like supplemental products. Like I always thought we could put fetch lands in Commander Precons, at the very least the Battle Bond lands. I always thought we could put shock lands in Commander Precons, and that's a way that we could keep price down. I do like that we had them in, 1 Modern Masters sets, and now it looks like Modern Horizons will be having them again, which is great. I don't know, at the time of filming, we don't know for certain, but yeah. I see the problem in those restrictions, but then it does lead to those moments. There's that famous moment where we first returned to Ravnica and the crowd literally shouted out fetch lands because they had never been reprinted before, and Modern was growing, and it's what Ravnica was known for. So yeah, I do kind of feel that way. So I'd love to see expansions in Planes when we return to them. Things like, what are other horror tropes that other parts of Innistrad could have? Cross the ocean. What if, and then Kamigawa Neon Dynasty is a good example of this. In this case, we were not traveling a distance of space, but a distance of time. And I think it was highly successful. I miss some of the old flavor of Kamigawa, but I love the way in which it felt true to the world and yet also was new and developed, and also did not end in its destruction. To go all the way around to it, well, there's our Arlen emblem, to go all the way around to it, feeling like we're going to destroy a beloved plane. It's a bummer. It's a bummer. Maybe if we did entire blocks again. Oh, I said I wouldn't talk about blocks. We could do a thing where it looks destroyed but is saved by the end of it. It kind of was original Innistrad when Avacyn was restored. I loved that upbeat moment in this. One of my favorite trailers, Avacyn Restored trailer, by the way, is one of my absolute favorite trailers. And I like that we had been in the darkness and then it was now we're in the hope. Mechanically, original Innistrad is really where it's at for me, and I don't actually draft Avacyn Restored. Like, it's not in my set cube. I don't incorporate it. I don't feel it goes with that. But, yeah. So, let's talk a little bit about what we're seeing in these cards. I don't know. Do people like that I'm talking about my theory on planes and returning to planes? Or do people want me to say, look at this art. Press for answers. Fun mechanic, fun art, fun little thing. But notice that it's not like this new meme-y thing. You know, we've got this big monster here being interrogated by a human. It ties in to what's going on in terms of the card mechanics. It's silly, but it still in a weird way takes itself seriously. I don't know, humor is subjective. Also, notice the next card is not a joke, and the next card is not a joke. I love how the eyeballs are all across the curtains here. This person is spooked. She's wondering if something's there. No, it's just the wind, but it's not. Things are changing. The eyes are forming. She doesn't quite see it. This isn't a joke either. So notice we had our silly card gone missing. You can say there's a little silliness to it, but I feel like so many more cards in our current sets are jokes and memes, and they don't take the set seriously. And I would honestly say Thunder Junction did not take itself seriously. Maybe you might say lighthearted, but I would say, yeah. Again, getting off topic. Definitely Shadows over Innistrad still has the classic Innistrad feel. Relentless Dead, we see that Cathedral of Avacyn, but of course they've broken through the glass. It's a great little feeling. This card's probably 99 cents, right? Show me 99 cents. It was really when we got to Eldritch Moon and everything did kind of undo that people had a feeling of, oh man, but I loved Innistrad. And here we also start to see the deaths of characters like Avacyn, which is a bummer. Do you think that, I know, Game of Thrones changed the game with this idea of characters can die and there are real stakes. Do we want those kind of stakes in Magic? And should they be ever persistent? Don't you kind of feel that returning to a plane you want to see, Thalia and Avacyn, and if we build really popular, really successful, this is such a disturbing both art and flavor text, build really successful characters, that it's maybe a disservice to kill them off. I mean, it's great in Endgame that we kill off Tony Stark, spoilers, but then look at what happened to the Marvel Universe after Endgame. So we killed off Avacyn and we killed off Gideon and a million other of these beloved characters. And then, well, who do we have left? But I don't know. Thank you. This blade becomes so hot in my hand, but your blood has quenched it. So disturbing. And Innistrad truly was just such a great plane. What a shame then when we go from this to Midnight Hunt and Crimson Vow. Does a bad set ruin our ability to return to a plane? I'm going to come right out and say Midnight Hunt was okay, but not great. And Crimson Vow was absolutely a disappointment. And then to follow that with double feature, it really killed Innistrad for me in a lot of ways, or at least my excitement about returning to it. Look at also, talk about joke, Crimson Vow. So we go from, maybe they're just making so much they're out of ideas, but we go from, all right, werewolves, zombies, vampires, angels return and save the day. What a beautiful little trilogy. Then we return to Innistrad. It is eldritch, horrors, cosmic, monsters, madness, transformations occurring, people sticking knives in you. And then it's like Midnight Hunt. There's werewolves again. What about the werewolves? Werewolves? And then let's get to my favorite joke. We've done vampires. We've done zombies. We've done Cthulhu. What's left? What's horrifying thing left by Crimson Vow? A wedding! Oh, am I right, fellas? Nothing scarier than having to get married. And it was like in the plot too, where it's like, man, Olivia, she's manipulating this guy into getting married. And we've got horrifying cards like wedding ring and wedding dress and wedding invitations. Ooh. And it just gets into this thing where it's not, in my opinion, taking itself, wow, we have gotten a lot of murderous compulsions, seriously. I don't know. I wasn't a fan. But even if you were a fan, I'd like to ask you the question, when we do have a dud return to set, oh, beautiful. Wonderful, wonderful card. What an awesome, awesome card. What's the value on this these days? Come on, you gotta be at least $5, right? $5 is what I think is like, that's a good value for a card. I love cards in $5 to $10 range. It's got some value, got some bang for your buck, but, not prohibitively expensive. But getting back to my question, if we do, whether you thought Crimson Vow and Double Feature and Midnight Hunt were ruining our enthusiasm for Innistrad or not, but my question is just, for any set that you personally feel is a return set that botches what was so good about the set in the first place. Is that like it? Is Innistrad no longer the surefire thing? Can't help but think of Ravnica. We return to one of probably the center plane of Magic, but after this last series of disasters there, Karlov Manor, Ravnica Remastered didn't land well. Guys, look at this cute. I miss Magic art like this. Yeah. Does it ruin it? And can it recover? You need to be extra careful with that recovery. There's poor Avacyn. It's an amazing card though. And I don't I don't mean to purport to say we should have all of our characters sealed in amber. This card is beautiful, and the story beat is emotionally resonant. This is a great mechanical card. This is beautiful art. This is a beautiful moment. I like the flavor text. I like everything about it. The full art of it, which was I believe, Game Day promo. Also amazing. Maybe show right here, editor, the full art Anguished Unmaking that they made. I don't know if they've made more. I hate that there might be 5 of these. If there are, I don't know, because all I know is this, and then it's beautiful Game Day promo. Beautiful, look at that. And maybe then the key is don't kill everyone off. Maybe just make it matter. It really mattered that Avacyn was lost here. I don't know that Gideon should have died. Maybe someone needs to die in War of the Spark. Maybe that, again, it's our end game. And in a lot of ways it was. I think that was the end of a certain era of Magic in some ways, was War of the Spark. And I do think it helps to have resonance. And I do think Avacyn is a cool character, but having her have to be destroyed does add that weight. Shard of broken glass. Little did we know we would soon have Wrench and Rope and Shoe and Rock. We do, by the way. We really do have Rock. Wow. I'm going to be honest with you. Looking at these, I haven't looked through packs like this of Shadows over Innistrad in a long while, and I forgot how different the art and the cards and the mechanics feel. The fact that, look at these mechanics. One line. One line. One line. One line. One line. One line. Doesn't create a token. Doesn't create a token. Doesn't create a token. Doesn't create a token. That creates a token. Doesn't create a token. One line. Doesn't create a token. 2 lines. Doesn't create a token. 2 lines. I guess this is getting a little long. Griff's Boon was a cool card, though. Oh, Magnifying Glass. Is this from Markov Manor? Triskaidekaphobia. Now, here's a silly card again. Fear of 13. There are all these recurring things in the artwork of 13. People have done breakdowns of it. It's really cool. It's a fun card. It's silly. At rare, it sucks because it's like, what, 30 cents? Maybe. I don't think you can ever really successfully win with this or do much with it, but it's a silly card. I think a lot of the issues I have with complex cards, silly cards, characters being killed, returning to planes, all the humor, the meminess, is it feels like Wizards is just overdoing it. It's not that I don't like silly cards. I just feel like we're doing too much. It's not like I don't have a sense of humor about Magic. I just feel like we're doing it too much. I wish we had a little bit more taking ourselves seriously. I wish we had a little bit less burning everything that we love down. I wish we could keep some of the characters that drive Magic while also still having some stakes and having characters perhaps die from time to time, even important ones. It's a balance. And I think that balance just has gotten very out of whack. That's all. I think it's okay sometimes not even to have the answers, to just say, I've got a feeling. I don't think it's wrong for me to say, you know, I'm going to do a video, spoiler alert. I'm going to do a video, and that video is going to be called is Magic the Gathering turning too much into a joke of itself? And it's more about just the comedy and humor of it. But in it, I feel very sensitive making the video because people are going to start pointing out like goofy cards in Magic's past and be like, well, what about 7th edition Flight with the zebra or whatever it was? You know the one, or it might have been 10th edition. One of those old core sets had a card called Flight, which got redone with a zebra flying through the air. The idea being that really looks like Stephen Colbert, by the way, right? You see that, right? Ever after, nothing's scarier than getting married. No, see, they didn't mean that one. And I like the silly jokes. We've got goblin diplomats. They're like mooning the camera. I love it, but it's just more too much. And I also feel that it's fair to be able to say, I feel that Magic is not taking itself seriously enough anymore, and without you having to counter my feelings. That was actually one of the best bits of therapy. So I've been with my wife for 25 years now. We've been together 25 years. That's a long time. Some people in here maybe have not been in a relationship for 25 years. I've been in a relationship for 25 years with my wife. Year 3, I'm a real believer in therapy. I have a therapist, and we also, not always, I don't always have a therapist, but I often seek out therapy for mental health, which is doesn't work for everyone, but I've had some success and some not success. Love the art for clip wings. And I have also gone to, couples therapy. And it was probably year 3 we went into couples therapy, and we got this piece of advice from our counselor. I'm going to share it with you. And we still reference it today, and it's this. Cool. Whether or not you agree with whether someone should feel a certain way, like if I were to say to my partner or they were to say to me, I'm hurt when you did this. And you might go, why? You shouldn't be hurt when I do that. I didn't even mean to do that. I didn't even want to do that. This. And the therapist said, stop. Your partner has said to you that this action caused them to feel hurt. And you need to acknowledge that they do feel that way. They're not making it up. They're not inventing that they feel hurt. They feel hurt. And you need to respond to that. And I feel that to take that couples, and that's been a big thing where then it doesn't get into, why are you hurt? Shouldn't be hurt. I didn't do anything to hurt you. That shouldn't hurt you. It's like, oh, you feel hurt by that. Well, I didn't want to hurt you, So in Magic, I often feel that advice needs to be taken, because I will say, hey, I feel like Magic is not taking itself seriously. I feel like a lot of these sets are like I felt like Thunder Junction felt like a Universes Beyond set. I felt like Markov Manor didn't feel like Ravnica. It feels like everything's a bit, everything's a joke. And people will respond, no, it's not. That's not true. You should, well, what about this? What about Flight from 10th edition? What about Goblin Diplomats? And a bunch of other cards that were silly in Magic's past. I go, yeah, and I like those cards, and I like silly, but I feel that it's getting too silly, too persistent, too ever. And what about some follow-up questions? Why do you feel that way? When I look at it, it feels like Magic's always had humor, and I go, yeah, it has. And you go, do you not like humor, perhaps? I go, no, I do like humor. I'm a humor guy, but I feel like it's too much now. And we try and understand it. It doesn't mean I'm right or wrong in what Magic should be doing, but it does mean I am right in how I feel, and that is how I feel. That's why one of the things that always upsets me is when I hear from people, sometimes Wizards of the Coast, but oftentimes Reddit, that I might be voicing an opinion to get clicks or views, which I swear to God, that drives me up the wall. Because all I do is just have opinions. And they're my opinions, and they might be ones you disagree with, and that's fine. But I'm not making crap. I'm not saying stuff like, I feel like Magic's too jokey for an opinion, for a click or something. I'm saying it because that's how I feel, because I have passionate feelings about Magic. What a great set, though. What a memory. What a thing down it. Okay, so we're about halfway through this box. We've seen all the commons and uncommons. I'm going to go through and we're going to go straight now to the rares, and I'm going to comment on them. Second Harvest. So here's where also food tokens still existed. Oh, no, food tokens didn't exist. Those came out of drain. Clue tokens are what existed and first came in. And there's another one. I feel there's too many tokens. And I actually think that was a clever thing I was doing where I was looking at how long these cards are. Oh, I gotta remember, are there rares after it? All right, here's our rares in this pack. Elusive Tormentor, creepy, and Engulf the Shore. 69 cents, but not very nice. These boxes are too big for the stop and talk. This is why I do this for the collector booster box game and not... Oh! Boom! Mind Rack Demon, 40 cents. And then we got our not Delver of Secrets. And we got catalog. I like the catalog art. This is very old school YouTube too, now that I'm cutting straight to the mythics. Let me know in the comments if you're glad I started cutting to the mythics. Are you gonna stick with me for another booster box? I don't know. I'm worried this is too long. And I don't have a lot to say. Port Town, okay, is Port Town $5? Probably not. It's about $1.50. And then we've got Senseless Rage. Lovely. I have some more things to talk about with returning sets. But let's just get through these packs and we'll discuss it when we hit Eldritch Moon. From Under the Floorboards. Boom. I do feel that there are too many components, and especially when Commander is the main way we play Magic now. God, so we have a gameplay show. It's called Shuffle Up and Play. You may have heard of it. And we literally keep a token library so that people come with their decks, and people don't have all the tokens they need for their decks, which is very common. We like to have tokens if we can, but we use Infinitokens, not a sponsor, just really cool. Infinitokens.com. But we do like to always try, because we don't want to have like everybody's using Infinitokens. We want it to be like, oh, for that weird card is a great little excuse to plug them and stuff like that. And wow, is it amazing how many tokens as we go and gather them all. So when you see an episode Shuffle Up and Play and you see, let's say 90% of the tokens, we have the physical copy, that's often from the TCC token library. And let me tell you, it's wild how many, components a deck of Commander needs in that regard. And I think this too, it's just getting too out of control with it. Oh, Olivia mobilized for war. Did you see my office hours with Olivia mobilized for war? One of my favorites. Absolutely. We make fun of her neck armor. Wow, I will say the feelings, and maybe some of it is nostalgia, but I don't think it's entirely. The feelings that I'm getting as I go through these old cards and see, it feels like a different game. The flavor feels different. Magic cards don't have this feeling, and I think it's a self-seriousness that's been missing from a lot of these sets. I guess the Phyrexian arc, took itself seriously. Just didn't feel like this quite the same. Maybe it's the artwork. I don't know. Maybe it's just also the surrounding environments, because the first thing that then when I say this that comes to mind is, whoa, man, Phyrexia All Will Be One wasn't a meme set. That was serious. That was spooky. That was body horror, a little too much. Even if I didn't like the story of March of the Machine. Yeah, okay, but March of the Machine, meanwhile, did get into goofy crap like Thalia riding the Gitrog monster, which is now on Thunder Junction wearing a cowboy hat, And so, there you go. But also, I think the surrounding elements of Magic the Gathering might have an effect too, where then you go, well, Phyrexia LB1 wasn't, a meme set, it wasn't. So why are you feeling that way? And it's like, well, maybe because there's 800 secret layers that are just, cereal boxes and poker cards and crossovers with whatever goofy thing. And so Magic as a whole is starting to feel that way, and you're getting an effect of dilution It's being diluted. All right, our final thing. We didn't get, we did get one Planeswalker, Arlen. Is this a Planeswalker? No, it's Altered Ego. I will guess 16 cents. Show me 16 cents. I have a little bit more to say, and I hope you'll stick with me. I'm honestly right now feeling like you are really bored and tuning out, and that this is why I do collector boosters, because it's gonna be like an hour to get through 2 boxes. This is why we don't do the booster box game for real for this. When we do the collector booster box game, I try and make a premise for it, but it doesn't quite work because it's just too many packs to get through if we do, 15 boxes like we might do for the regular booster box game. Let's take a look at Eldritch Moon and talk a little bit more about this stuff. All right, I am gonna go faster opening this up, by the way, but I also have here from when Eldritch Moon came out, my Eldritch Moon sealed, constructed, pre-release deck that I built for the Loading Ready Run pre-release. I've saved it all these years, and I might just take that out and show you what I built. I almost won with it. I lost to Marshall Sutcliffe in the finals. Oh boy. Boy, remember it was hard to open up these boxes? Here we go. Okay, I'm gonna go a little faster on this one. I talked about why Innistrad does have such a special place in my heart in my original Innistrad opening, which you can check out linked here. But going through these cards, they really do fill me with a great sense of joy for this old set. And I wonder how much I'll look back on sets like Thunder Junction, Markov Manor. Go back a little further, Wilds of Eldraine. Does Wilds of Eldraine have the same impact as Throne of Eldraine? Was it too soon? I guess it was 5 years. How soon is too soon to return to a set? There's our first mythic in our first pack, and it's 30 cents. Show me 30 cents! Oh dear. All right, I'm gonna say right now that I want to get Tameo. Oh, look, it's an ad for Kaladesh. So did Kaladesh came up after Eldritch Moon? I believe it did. So interesting. Kaladesh was, it's on the back of a spirit token. I guess the other tokens might have it. Yeah, so it went, that came out next. That was their big take a break from the Gatewatch thing. And then it went to Almond-Cat. Then we went back to Dominaria, which was great. So fun fact, Richard Garfield, creator of, love this card in Pauper. Richard Garfield, creator of Magic the Gathering, returned in original Innistrad. And he worked on original Innistrad, first set he'd worked on in a long while. Gee, I wonder why it was so good. And then he returned in original Dominaria. Yep, and now it's just Eldrazi. And that was the big problem, too, is I think that Zendikar had it as well. It's just like, Eldrazi have this way of just making everything about them. And I think that a little goes a long way, unfortunately, in terms of like, I think Rise of the Eldrazi was the perfect Eldrazi set. And I think that it was okay with there being, Eldrazi horrors on Innistrad in Eldritch Moon and not really so much in, I don't think there were any in I just looked at it, in Shadows over Innistrad because they didn't want to give it away, even though everyone knew. But I think the problem was coming right after Battle for Zendikar, just Eldrazi everywhere. Ooh, we got one of our meldy melds. All right, let's see if we can also complete the meld. I won on game nights with a meld. That's right, I've won a game or two of Commander in my day. Yeah, I don't know. It is too bad about the return to Innistrad more so than the return to Innistrad. I think Eldritch Moon and Shadows over Innistrad were a success. I think they were popular, they were cool. I think the problem was more Battle for Zendikar, which I think that set was not great, in my opinion. And I think that they maybe got a little bit of the Eldrazi fatigue as a result. I think that if this had just come out of nowhere and then led into Battle for Zendikar as the third set, oh, I just stumbled on it. Did we get the price on Bedlam Reveler? I love this card, by the way. That's what it should have been. We should have had set 1, Shadows over Innistrad. What is going on? What is happening here? Something is twisting us eyeballs and tentacles. We haven't seen the Eldrazi in a decade. What could it be? It can't be the Eldrazi, or could it? Yes, Eldritch Moon. The cosmic horror is Emrakul. But how could Emrakul be on Innistrad? What is going on? We defeat her, but just barely, and not even. We come together. This was my preview card back when I got them. We come together and we barely defeat her. But there were 3, and this is only 1. We must return to Zendikar, and that is the third set. I think, oh God, I'm gonna do it, aren't I? I'm gonna do it. I said I wasn't gonna talk about blocks. And I'm gonna, all right, we're gonna go through these fast in a minute, but we're gonna talk about blocks and then we're gonna burn through it. We should still have 3 set blocks, but we design them how we design things now, and we have this narrative that's 2 in 1, like Return to Ravnica, ending with War of the Spark, right? And that should have been this. So many iconic cards came out of this set, or this block. We should have had, as the norm, do you hear this plane? There's a plane over my head. We should have had as the norm, we do two sets and then a third that has a connective tissue, but it's still like a standalone. Battle for Zendikar and Oath of the Gatewatch should have been one set, one epic War of the Spar-like set. It's the final battle against the Eldrazi. It is where the Gatewatch gets created, but they all came on to Innistrad for whatever reason and got together. And then, yeah, that would have been awesome. That's how it should have been. Something's happening on our beloved plane of Innistrad. Our planeswalkers go there to figure it out. It's Emrakul in the second set. We barely defeat her, but we must continue together. Even though we barely defeated one, there are two left and we are returning to Zendikar. We don't know what awaits us there. And we go there to find the two remaining titans. Ugin, the spirit dragon, brother of Nicole Bolas, leading us like Zordon led the Power Rangers, and we deploy the Gatewatch. Deploy the Gatewatch. What a stupid name for a card. I'm sorry. Deploy the Gatewatch. Show me 50 cents. Couldn't do it all the time, but I think that we need more two-set blocks. I think that we need more two-set blocks, and then pepperings in of the one-set blocks. You know, Dominaria, Kamigawa, although I would have liked to have spent a year on Kamigawa. Kaldheim, I would have liked to have spent a year on Kaldheim. Eldraine, Eldraine was pretty good as standalone. I wanted to get away from those Eldraine cards. It's a good set. I don't know, what do you think? Let me know in the comments. We're gonna go through this fast. Let's see if we can get our value in this. It's time to go through this fast because this is taking. I'm realizing why I only do this for collector boosters, and I'm worried you're all bored with me and my stupid opinions. So, Tolarian Community College is almost at 1 million subscribers. Collective whoa, I'm throwing cards everywhere. Sorry, I won't do that in all of them. Now we're getting a little long on some of these cards. Collective Defiance. And this lovely foil backwoods survivalists. I'm almost at 1 million subscribers with this crap, and it's been 11 years. But when Eldritch Moon came out, I got to go to the Loading Ready Run pre-release. Ah! It's Liliana! All right. How much? She was worth a lot for a minute, but I know what she's worth now. Liliana, the last hope. I'm gonna say, show me $13. I have no idea. No idea. Going to the Loading Ready Run pre-release meant so much to me because Loading Ready Run means so much to me because they are who inspired me. Spell Queller, I love this card. They are who inspired me to do my channel. I watched them for years before they got back into Magic. I loved them. And then when they got back into Magic, it was when I got back into Magic with Original Innistrad. They got it back in a little before me. I think it was still, I don't know. It was very similar timing, and I was very excited to see them get back into Magic. This is what I beat Gabby Spartz and Allison Lurs with during the... Oh, and we got Ulrich, the worst werewolf commander, or so we thought. And Elder Deep Fiend, go watch the pre-release. That was my big card. I lost to Marshall, and I feel I could have beaten him, but I got real nervous. And I did some misplays. I know the professor misplays. So it meant a lot when I got invited to the pre-release because Loading Ready Run were my inspiration. One of the happiest days of my life was Graham just tweeted out a photo of himself doing something, and he happened to be wearing the TCC shirt. And I had met him, and we followed each other, but I didn't know him at that point. This was before pre-release. And he was wearing my shirt. He had bought, I'm presuming, I didn't send it to him, he just bought it. And I sent him a DM, and I was like, I don't want to sound like a lunatic here, but it means so much to me. Are we getting the prices on these, by the way? Did I leave it up for too long or too short? Be a little better about that. I said, I just want to say it means so much to me to see you wearing your shirt because of the role your channel had on me forming mine. You know, we chatted, got to go up to the pre-release, say some nice words to everyone. Getting to play against Marshall, like I said, I was so nervous because I was a big Limited Resources fan in the day too. And then at MagicCon Chicago, the first MagicCon I was invited to ever, to be on Game Nights Live, and I'll be at MagicCon Las Vegas. So it looks like they realized they like having me there. So I hope I see you in Vegas. I'm running a special event. Graham was there backstage at Game Nights Live, and he was wearing my shirt, that same shirt, because I don't make them anymore. There's a few left at TolarianCommunityCollege.com. I went up and gave him a big old hug. Hadn't seen him in a while. It meant a lot, and these sets mean a lot. And then I was so nervous for Game Nights Live because I don't like doing live stuff. I hate doing unscripted stuff like this. And I was so nervous. I've not felt that nervous in long time. It was cool to feel that way. It was cool to feel a new thing or a distant thing. I like that about life, when you get to feel new things, different things. I really do like that. But I was also nervous as hell. And there was a makeup. You had to go into a makeup chair, and it was where the people on coverage get their makeup done. And I walk in, and Marshall's in there. He's talking to someone else. And I didn't want to disturb him because he's talking to someone else, and he probably just got in between rounds. He's over in the corner. I'm like, all right. I hadn't seen him in years either. And they put me in the makeup chair, and they start doing the makeup, and there's a tap on my shoulder. And it's Marshall. It's overwhelming that he would come up to me. And then he went further, and he was like, what you doing, Prof? How you doing? And I told him. I said I was nervous. He said, don't be nervous. What are you wearing? I told him about my costume. I told him I was playing Is It? And he says, Is It? You got a watch? I said, I've got a watch that I bought in honor of you as a birthday present. but I didn't bring it with me to Chicago. I don't want to lose it. He goes, no, that's the whole point of them. Look. He goes over and he opens up a case, and there's 3 watches in there. And he goes, I think this one. And he takes it out. It's probably some ridiculously expensive watch. It was one with all the mechanics where you could see the inside. And he goes, Prof, I want you to wear this for Game Nights Live. And that way, while it's on, you'll know that you're going to crush it, because we know you're going to crush it. What a sweet, sweet man. And I wore it, and I showed it off to everyone. It's like, look what Marshall loaned me. I'm wearing Marshall's watch. I was just like, oh, and I'm on Game Nights Live. I love this community. I love this game. And I even love Thunder Junction. I just don't love the setting. Just don't love the setting. But I'm looking forward to Bloomborough. I think it might be the best set of the year. All these one-offs. Once on Ravnica, once on Thunder Junction, once on Bloomborough, once on Duskmorn. Let's stay twice. Let's stay twice. So, those are my thoughts on returning to Plains. And this video, if you're still here and you've stuck with me, thank you. And thank you for sticking with me for 11 years now of Tolarian Community College. You changed my life. Just like Innistrad when I returned to it. And this game changed my life. Just like Loading Ready Run changed my life. Just like Marshall Sutcliffe changed my life. Just like Jimmy and Josh and everybody. You know, we had 60 individual people on Shuffle Up and Play this last year. 60. And there were still people I couldn't invite, both new and old. Well, I love it here. I hope you do too. If you haven't been down to your local game store in a while, go on down to your local game store. Maybe you'll make some friends. And if your local game store sucks, I'm sorry. You know when I say that stuff about support your local game store, go to your local game store, it's all under the premise that your local game store is a reasonable place. And if it's not, try forming a club. Try searching for Magic clubs. Go on the Tolarian Community College Discord. We have great moderators. What a great mod team. And yes, I pay them for their time. And they are running the TCC Discord. It's free to use the Looking for Games section. We have a great community on there. So if you can't go down to your local game store, go on to Tolarian Community College. We have an amazing Discord. And get a game of Magic and make some friends. Go to a Command Fest. I'm going to be at both Command Fest Las Vegas for SCG Con, Command Fest Las Vegas, and I'm also going to, or it's SCG Con Las Vegas. You think I know the name of the thing I'm going to be at, but I'm going to be there. That's in a few weeks. So if you want to go out to Vegas in like 3 weeks, check it out. It's SCG Con Vegas. I will be there. It's a smaller event compared to Magic Con Vegas. You got a better chance of getting to like at Magic Con. You're going to want to be like signing up for people's events to get to see them and meet them. But SCG Con, I'm just going to be jamming games. You're probably a lot more likely to get a game with me, or at the very least, just chat and say hi, or your other favorite creators, or come to Magic Con. It's like Comic Con, so it's much more like I'm doing a panel, I'm doing a signing, and that's fun too. It's a spectacle event, but I'm going to be at both. I hope to see you at one if you can make it. And if you can't, go on down to your local game store, play some Magic. If you can't do that, boom! Go onto the TCC Discord and make some friends. But if you can't do that, call your mom or dad, guardian, brother, sister, best friend, or any one person right now in your life that you care about, that you love. You call them up, one person right now. You say to them that you love them. Whether that's a parent or a friend, teacher, or just your partner. I want you to think of one person that you love. Ah, my last pack! my last pack of the box, and I got her. And she's what made my Loading Ready Run pre-release deck, along with the Elder Deep Fiend. So powerful, so great. The very first Innistrad pack I ever opened at my very first pre-release for Magic the Gathering, original Innistrad, was Liliana of the Veil. And then for Eldritch Moon, my very first pre-release, for the people who inspired me, there she is. And I got her as my pre-release, July 2016. Go subscribe to Loading Ready Run, and here's my deck that I almost beat Marshall with. I stole their lands, by the way. I want you to let Loading Ready Run know that on July 16th, 2016, I stole from Loading Ready Run's land station at the moon base their full art lands, and I have no apologies or regrets. I said, I'm keeping these. I bought some crap off their website, which I have their DVD right here. I own two of them. Because I lent this one out to everyone at my local game store, saying, go watch Friday nights. And I was worried someone might break or steal it, so I bought two, just in case. So I would always have one for me. So there's a sealed one on there as well. Holy hell, was this fun. I am plagued with insecurity about this video. I think it was long and rambly, and probably everyone hated it, and you're all gone. But goddamn did I enjoy it. So maybe this one was just for me. Maybe this one, it ended on, I love this game, and I love the people I play this game with. Why isn't that a full art? That's weird. That should be a full art. I need to steal one more full art from the moon base. There we go. Beautiful. Tell someone you love them. Wow, that sure got emotional there at the end. I didn't plan that. I just ran out of bullet points to talk about returning to Plains, so I started speaking from the heart. And speaking of speaking from the heart, I'm about to reach 1 million subs, so thank you from my heart, honestly, to everyone who has hit that subscribe button over the years, or just shared this video with a friend, left a comment, just watched and stuck with me, whether you're new or have been around since the beginning. Thank you. Oh, and also thank you for sticking with me to the end of an unscripted prof box opening video. I do hope you enjoyed it. And remember, a good night's sleep is never far away with Helix. I absolutely love my Helix mattress, and I think you would too. If you're looking to upgrade your mattress, now is a fantastic time to check out Helix Sleep. Their Memorial Day sale is running now through May 30th, and you can get 30% off an Elite or Luxe mattress plus 2 free pillows. Or you can just take advantage of 25% off site-wide. Check out the Helix site for more details. Thank you, Helix, for sponsoring this video.
On the season finale of Shuffle Up and Play,
We have brought our very first Commander decks.
my name is Kenji Egashira, better known as Numat the Nummy.
I'm Sam from Ristic Studies.
I'm Spice 8 Rack, and if I'm here, who's flying the plane? Who are you?
I already said it.
Oh,
Note to future editor, leave that part in. That's hilarious.
Draw that insurrection. Reveal a land tax.
my God.
I don't think I was a very fun player to play against back in the day.
You literally announce yourself as going to destroy all our lands
Okay,
before
all right,
playing.
that's fair, that's fair.
Is there anything that I am scared of?
Are you scared of the future?
Oh, don't start this again. Bane of Progress.
No.
You got a crisp 20 to make me not pick that one?
No comments.
This is the first episode of Shuffle Up and Play where I'm not immediately targeted.
Well, thanks for reminding us.
Oh yeah, props here.
Get him!
Non-god gamers.